The eyes of the mighty Cesar are upon you. He admires your accomplishments and bestows upon you the exceptional gift of his mark. Any crimes you may have perpetrated against the Legion are hereby forgiven. Cesar will not extend this mercy a second time. My lord requires your presence at his camp at Fortification Hill. His mark will guarantee your safe conduct through our lands. I am the greatest of Cesar's frumentari. It was not a challenge to find you. Nor is this my first visit to the Strip. Go to him, and you will understand. Seek Cesar by way of Cottonwood Cove, south of Nelson. The Cursor Lucullus will be waiting. Cesar awaits.
Please, help me. Legion caught me. Said this was the penalty for drug runners. Please, let me down. Please, for the love of God, let me down. No, please, don't leave me here.
Halt! What business have you in Cottonwood Cove, outsider? You wear the mark of Cesar. You must be who Cursor Lucullus is waiting for. You may continue, but be warned. Mark or no, we will not tolerate aggressive action by visitors in the camp.
Awe, are you ready to head upriver? I am Cursor Lucullus, and my orders are to escort you to the Legion's camp at Fortification Hill. Are you ready to go? You'll be meeting face-to-face with the mighty Cesar himself, founder of the Legion, conqueror of 86 tribes. To my knowledge, this is the first time Cesar has ever summoned one of the dissolute to see him. Not even tribal chieftains receive this honor. All who are not Legion are dissolute. They live in squalor, unrestrained by morality, lacking moderation, temper, and self-control. Their very existence is a blight on the common good. Even worse are the profligates, the subtype of dissolute one finds this side of the river. They hold themselves to be civilized, when in fact they are corrupt and self-interested. The truth will be made clear to them soon enough. You'd know better than I would, but you must be remarkable for Cesar to take such an interest. The trip will take a few hours. Take your place on the boat. By order of Cesar, all visitors must disarm and relinquish all banned items. This order also extends to the platinum chip you carry. For now. Alcohol and all chems, including stims and other addictive items. I know not why Cesar would wish to speak with such a physically inferior whelp, but I will allow this one exception. You may bear Cesar's mark, but do not attempt to share any of your medicine with anyone in the fort. Your belongings will be returned to you when you leave. Awe, true to Cesar. Awe. So you're the visitor I've heard some of the legionaries talking about. If you're in the mood to trade, just say the word. I haven't had the pleasure. I have crossed paths with Legate Lanius, his second-in-command, however. It was unpleasant. Shoot. No, sir. I'm an independent trader from Arizona. Not at all. They're my best customers. As long as you don't try to sell them chems or alcohol, they treat you fair. Hell, I don't even need to travel with guards most of the time in Legion territory. All the bandits are dead or run off. Between having to hire protection and getting slapped with taxes, it's more profitable to stick to Arizona and New Mexico. But I do cross the river from time to time when an opportunity comes along. He's the best the Legion has to offer. Or so the Legionaries say. Brute of a man, wears a fancy metal mask in a battle. He killed one of my pack Brahmins simply because it was in his way. I knew better than to complain about it, though. Have a look.
I'm harsh on the children, but they'll be excellent legionaries.
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about the burned man again.
Hold your tongue, wastrel.
You here to fight in the arena? Then you're talking to the right man. A great warrior. When he was but a recruit, I watched him kill 10 men in the arena with his bare hands. He doesn't feel pain, and he never ever shows mercy. If all legionaries were like him, the Legion would be invincible. Such as? Light armor and machetes only. The challenger, the one who asks to enter the arena, may be pitted against one or more opponents. All matches continue until one side is dead. No exceptions. I set up the fights, keep track of prisoners available, and make sure the arena's cleaned up. Most of the time, it's some young legionary trying to make a name for himself, hoping to get noticed by Cesar or the Praetorians. We pit slaves or prisoners against each other once in a while, but it's not much of a show. They're usually too reluctant to kill each other. It's not something we like to speak of. The burned man was our greatest warrior, even greater than Legate Lanius. But he failed Cesar at the dam. He's been dead for several years now. But the rumor is that Cesar has scouts out looking for him all the same. The burned man was a very tough man.
Awe, true to Cesar.
I'm looking forward to getting sent across the...
If you're injured, I might have healing powder to spare. I never finished my training. The Legion saw to that when they overran my town. I do know basic first aid, but I've had to rely on tribal remedies to treat illnesses and injuries. Healing powders and all that. I'm always running low on Xanderroot. Plenty of Brock flowers, though. Oh, I've been using 2 roots per flower. Thanks to you, I'll be able to create twice as much healing powder per day. For sale? I'm a slave, not a merchant. I could give you some healing powder every day, but you'd have to be a friend of the Legion. A vengeful spirit. Some of the more superstitious women claim. He was a great leader of the Legion before he failed Cesar. The story says he was set on fire and thrown into the Grand Canyon, but his angry spirit rose from the ashes of his corpse, looking for revenge. Nonsense, probably, but there's no doubt that many in the Legion believe he's still alive somehow. The Legate is not a man to be crossed, especially if you're a woman. That's all I'll talk about it. A small town in New Mexico. The Legion burned it a few years back. That's how I ended up here. 3 years and counting. If I could just get across the river, I'd be free. Not that I'd try it. I've seen what happens when you get caught. We're property. If you're too young or too old, the men usually leave you alone. Usually.
river. I'm looking forward to getting sent across the river. You must enter Cesar's tent alone. Anyone else must remain outside.
You're the courier who caused so much trouble for my Legion, and yet you dare come before me. All the bribes I sent to the Omertas ended up buying me nothing. The garrison I established at Nelson has been wiped out. So tell me this, because I really want to know. I am feared, with good reason. But you, of all people, dare to come here and stand before me, the mighty Cesar. What were you thinking? And you fell for that? Really? Because I'm going to have you killed now. Relax. I'm fucking with you. You do know why I wanted to meet you, right? A man nearly kills you, so you track him across the breadth of the Mojave? You arrive on the strip and waltz into the Lucky 38 like someone left you a key under the doormat? You assassinate the head of the chairman in his own casino and get away with it? When you set your mind to something, you get results. I like that. The question is, are you ready to get started? Oh, I'll give you the platinum chip, and then you'll use it exactly like I tell you to. The time is fast approaching when my Legion will assault the Great Dam and invade the West. Before that happens, I want Mr. House knocked out of the game. A quick 1-2 punch, with you doing the punching. I have eyes and ears everywhere. It behooves me not to invade the West blind and deaf. It hasn't been hard to track your progress. It's not as though you've been keeping a low profile. Down the hill, at the west edge of camp, is an old building. It was here when the fort was taken in 2277. Inside the building is a hatch. And inside that hatch are 2 steel doors that bear the sigil of the Lucky 38 casino. Now that same sigil is on the platinum chip you were carrying. Isn't that interesting? Even more interesting, there's a slot about the same size as the chip on the console that opens the hatch. So you know what I think? I think the platinum chip opens those doors. Doors that can't be pried open, or drilled open, or blasted open. Because all that, I tried. I don't know, and I don't like not knowing. I know Mr. House built it. I'm thinking it's probably some kind of weapon that he can't activate from a distance. I want you to destroy whatever you find in there, and then I want you to come back here and tell me about it. So go to the building and take this fucking platinum chip with you. My legionaries will meet you there, with your weapons and equipment. Goodbye. We'll talk again when you've destroyed whatever is down in that bunker.
I suspect you'll be a valuable asset to the Legion. Assuming you're really on our side, of course. There's a gambler, Martina Grosbeck, who has a knack for learning other people's secrets and passing that information along, for a price. The Omertas, who run Gomorrah, have become suspicious of Martina's frequent visits to their casino. Soon they'll pay her a visit of their own. If you have to. I really don't. Ah, yes. We are forbidden from speaking his true name. He was a shaman of some kind before he met Cesar, a holy man from out of the Utah. The Burn Man proved dangerous, unpredictable, and impossible to kill. He helped Cesar form the Legion, but almost led it to destruction.
Bunker, not before.
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about the Burned Man again.
Cesar has forbidden you to leave until you've carried out his will in the Great Underground Vault. Wale.
Some of the slaves have been spreading stories about the Burned Man again.
Well, you're here ahead of schedule. I suppose it's just as well. This is where I wanted you to end up after all. I knew I could rely on Cesar to give you back the platinum chip. That you were searched very thoroughly when you arrived at the fort is a certainty. And as the chip is a little too large to be secreted away. I also regard it a certainty that the chip was discovered, taken from you, and given to Cesar, who returned it to you. 2 + 2 = 4, Cesar wants you to destroy whatever you find in this bunker. But that's not going to happen, because you're going to work for me. I need you to manually upload the data from the chip to the facility's primary computer. There's a terminal at the other end of this facility. There's a complication. While I can broadcast to this screen, I can't control any of the facility's systems. That means I can't deactivate its security bots, most of which appear to be active according to the status board I'm looking at. Good. I won't hold you up any longer. Your work here is done. Return to the Lucky 38 so we can discuss next steps. You have a very bright future ahead of you. Thanks to your actions today, so does the rest of mankind.
You've carried out Cesar's will, but I must confiscate your equipment again. You're free to leave.